Welcome to RB Global Tracks, which is Leipzig's own RB Leipzig podcast in English. It's brought to you by Richard and Mario, and amongst us we are season ticket holders, passionate supporters, and not very neutral local pundits. And both of us have been following Leipzig football since our childhood days. So if you want to hear about RB Leipzig, capture the mood of the fans in the city, and if you want to go beyond numbers and statistics, you are in the right place. We're delighted to welcome you on board. And all we need to say now is, Auf geht's, Leipziger Jungs. Good day, Richard. And again, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Mario. Welcome to the other side of the calendar.
Oh my God, I never thought I'd make it.
2024, here we go. I'm really looking forward to it. The short winter break is finally over, and I'm really excited of this next upcoming weeks. Nice encounters in the Bundesliga, our highlight match in the UCL. So let's go, let's do this.
It's excellent to be back, and to be honest, it's very nice to watch Bundesliga again. I know some other leagues continued throughout the little winter break that we had. And I looked back the other day at the date, the last time we uploaded an episode. It's like 23 days ago. It feels like a very long time. So glad to have everyone back with us. If you're listening to us, thanks for listening to us, and welcome back. And we hope we're going to be able to entertain you a little bit in the next coming minutes. Let's see how many we get out of this. So today we're going to be talking about club-related news. There has been quite a bit of development around RB Leipzig. And of course, we're going to be looking forward to Erbarme die Hesse komme. SG Eintracht Frankfurt will visit Leipzig on Saturday. And we have a look at this opponent we know quite well from the summer and previous encounters. Always interesting. So, Richard, let's kick off with some club-related news. Timo Werner. I know we believe in Timo Werner, and I know there've been a lot of rumors, especially linking him with clubs from the Royal Island. But to be honest, come on, you Spurs, I didn't see that coming. I did not see this one coming. But then again, I'm not an expert. What do you think about that?
It's obviously his last chance. Everyone is talking about he's finally entered the last chance saloon. And, I think personally for him, this is a good choice. So he will very likely gain some playing time rather sooner than not, because the Spurs, as far as I know, have some African and Asian players that are not available in the upcoming weeks due to their duties with the national teams in the African Cup and Asian Cup. And so we will very likely see Timo on the pitch in the very first encounter versus Man United this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that he is going to perform well, that he maybe score 6, 7, maybe 10 goals. And so for him
versus Man United, yeah, I second that's all right.
Yeah, I didn't mean anything else. But from the view from our club, I think this is not a very good deal for RBL, because he's off the payroll. Well, it's like a good thing. So it's 5 million euros less to spend. But there are two possibilities in my opinion. So one is he's going to fuck it up once more. Excuse my language. And then we will have him back this summer, and I think there will be no decent chances that he will get on track. The circumstances, or the other possibility is he's going to the moon. He ignites his turbo, and he's going off, launches his abilities again, and then this option for the Spurs to make it a permanent deal for around 17 to 18 million euros is then far too cheap, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a big hope of the coach of Tottenham Hotspur, that he believes that the development is going to be similar to when Timo Werner joined RB Leipzig from VfB Stuttgart, because at that time Stuttgart got relegated And quite a few people also blamed it on him and his performance and not making or scoring those goals when he had those chances. And it seems to be a similar case over here in Leipzig right now. He has scored, of course, but there have been situations where he was in front of an open goal and then unfortunately something was wrong with the grass and he missed it. But I always do remember that decisive goal versus Mönchengladbach. From a sheer impossible angle to score a goal there. But after scoring that, he had problems with his back. That was not very helpful either. So to be honest, personally, yes, I think we're both in agreement that we keep our fingers crossed. So there has been a mixed review in the UK media regarding Timo's move. However, Robbie Savage, who's a former Welsh player and somewhat Emil Forsberg lookalike with his long blonde hair, and he used to play for Leicester, Birmingham City, Blackburn Rovers. Do you remember the Blackburn Rovers? And is currently a director at Macclesfield FC. He has actually said that it is a very good move by Tottenham Hotspur to loan out Timo Werner, and that he could really fit into the free-flowing attacking style of football that the coach is let's Tottenham Hotspur play. So let's keep our fingers crossed that he's right. And he's also quoted, Timo Werner, to have arrived in Tottenham and to confirm that he's joined a very, very big club. And that was taken as a little bit of a stick towards his former club, Chelsea. So we will see. A lot of competition there. So let's keep our fingers crossed. But I do agree as well, it's a bit of a strange deal. If he really improves, then hopefully he'll play a good role during the European Championships, during those 3 games of the Nationalmannschaft of Germany. But then he's way too cheap to be bought by Tottenham or anybody else with that clause. So we will see. Let's keep our fingers crossed. So yeah, one big news: Timo Werner is departing. London's calling again, but also it seems like Moriba has been loaned out to Getafe.
Getafe is calling.
Is it Getafe? I do apologize. Yeah. Okay. Which is quite nice. But Carvalho was called back to Liverpool. He was summoned back to Liverpool and now loaned out to a championship side, Hull. And we keep our fingers crossed there. But is it fair to say that that's quite a strange case, to be honest? A bit, can't really explain why he didn't make it into the squad of RB Leipzig more often, because he's a very skillful player. What do you think?
I have to agree with that. I always thought when he was on the pitch for us, it was like, hey, this guy knows how to handle the ball. Why is he struggling to make it a permanent player and then in the starting 11? And to me, it feels like I felt like I remembered that Patrick Kluivert. It was a similar player, similar playing style, but somehow it didn't click, and maybe sometimes it's just the circumstances, wrong place, wrong time. This is nothing that is really connected with the player himself, that is something like a lack of a skill, nothing like that. It's just sometimes there's missing one single part maybe, and then it just doesn't fit, and then it's okay to move on and try somewhere else.
Yeah, but I agree. But I would have liked him to stay longer and to really show what he can do. I do remember the unfortunate disallowed goal versus Manchester City in Manchester, where we had big hopes to come away with something more than we did at the time, and that was done beautifully. So yeah, let's wish him well and keep our fingers crossed for him. And thanks for everything he put in at Leipzig, because he did try it well. And Mr. Emil Forsberg has actually left for New York. New York Red Bulls put out a Twitter from him sitting on a Lufthansa business class flight, probably from Frankfurt out to JFK. So it's really happening, isn't it? And in that context, we just like to mention that we have put together a special episode, a special edition of our podcast, which includes loads of audio material which we recorded during his last game at Leipzig versus Hoffenheim, and we just tell the story of how everything happened. And it's just designed for anyone to listen to it anytime, whenever they feel like maybe reliving the moment if you were there, or just getting an insight what it felt like in the stands, from the stands, if you weren't there and you watch it on TV, or if you like to listen to Emil's speech and at times when he need a tearjerker. I don't know. But we're going to release it pretty soon. Had lots of fun to put it together. It was quite emotional. So hopefully you check it out. We'll let you know via all the channels. So, yeah, of course, Mr. Forsberg, best of luck to you. Well, today, some good news actually emerged, hasn't it? Mr. Lukas Klostermann, who's been with us for a long time as well, has extended his contract, according to sources around Guido Scherver. Now, Philipp Hinze has also confirmed it as well. Brilliant news, right, Richard?
Yeah, right. It seems that he finally found his pencil to sign this sign this.
Mate, I dropped it. I don't know
where's my pen? I don't know. I can't sign this contract. It's just here for like 3 weeks. No, I'm glad that he's going to stay. I think it's the right decision for him personally, and I feel happy for the club. So because Lukas Klostermann is it's just like a pillar in the defense. You know, he will never be world class, but when he's on that pitch, you always get a solid defensive player and this person that you always can rely on. Not really injury prone, so I'm looking forward to 4 more years. Great.
Brilliant. Well, last time you said something about more years. The guy left for New York, but it was 8 more years. No, but I'm really pleased as well. And then kind of cast our mind back to when he joined us from Bochum a long, long time ago. And Mr. Neurohrer was very skeptic about that move. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. So his advice was that he should look for another counselor.
So he showed him. No, well done. We're looking forward to a lot more great scenes and moments with Lukas Klostermann. Well, there's a new addition, which caught me by surprise, to be honest. We have the gentleman who scored the winning goal versus Germany in their last encounter. Who is that, Richard?
Elif Elmas, still a young player from North Macedonia, only 23 years old, but with 4 years of experience in Serie A at Napoli. And he's a very talented player, and you can play in both sides, midfield, left and right side, and he can shoot both feet as well. He's a nice shot with left and a nice shot with the right foot. He's a good ball carrier, nice vision, and a prolific passer as well. And he can convert penalties. I already saw that. So
that always helps.
It always helps. That rings a bell, I guess. From the first match versus Bochum that year. But so he's from North Macedonia. We didn't mention that, and is definitely skilled. And I'm really looking forward to his development. And I'm not quite sure why he wasn't able to go past Kavechkala or Zielinski at Naples. But on the other hand side, if he develops his skills a little bit more, then I'm really, really confident that he is a good addition to our roster, and he will help us to go for another season in the Champions League next season.
So is it fair to say that in relation to his age, he's got backs of experience already? And but would you actually see him as a direct substitution for Emil Forsberg, or is it a different style of player?
It's a different style of player, in my opinion. So Emil is, in my opinion, more skilled with the ball to his feet than Emil is, and he's, and especially in the first 3, 4, 5 steps faster, I think. So he can play on the same positions as Emil did, but I think it's not that directly comparable in playing style.
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how he fits in and how he continues and help the team. So, Mr. Elmas, a very warm welcome, and we forgive you for scoring that winning goal versus Germany. So, if you look at the movement so far, there have been a lot of people who left RB Leipzig, and there's always almost just one new addition, which leaves, I think, the squad with 21 players, including 2 goalies. What does that mean for the Rückrunde, my friend?
I do not feel comfortable with with those few players. So, and you mentioned it's 19 players plus 2 goalies, and from that 19 players, you can discount Haidara because he's off with Mali to the African Cup of Nations. So
True.
that leaves only 18 players. So then for the starting lineup, at least for the match versus Frankfurt, I'm pretty sure that our newest addition, Elif Elmas, won't be an option because his last competitive match was back in December the 8th, I think, versus Juve, and then he had a minor upper leg injury, so he maybe got some deficit in fitness levels or something like that. So then you have Olmo. Okay, he's back in team training. He's definitely ready to go for Frankfurt, but I don't expect him to be an option for the starting 11. That also counts for Willi Orban, who is back healthy again, but I don't expect him to play from the beginning, and that counts for Bichiabu as well. We didn't see him 1 minute because he had this knee injury before the start of the season. So we have to discount Haidara, Elmas, Orban, Olmo, Bijabu, 5 players from those 19. So that leaves us 14. So
Jesus,
this is not much. So
no.
Mark,
But also
Coach
bear in mind.
Rosa.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Coach Rosa has a nice puzzle to solve here.
He does, but also bear in mind that we have 2 key players from 4 yellow cards with Goal, Penda, and Xavi.
And Chimakan as well.
Oh no, 3 key players.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, and with the matches coming up versus Frankfurt, Leverkusen, and Stuttgart, that's going to be tricky. But the teams have always surprised us in the past. But it feels like we've seen this in the last 2 years, always going into the second part of the season with pretty small, or not limited, but a small squad. And trying and hoping that not too many people get injured, and just using everything that we have, but it doesn't seem very comfortable. So we will see how it goes. It's going to be even more important to attend those home matches and give the team all the support that we can get, that we can give them. And we will find out in time what it means for the summer, doesn't it?
Of course, but I do hope that we add at least a striker. So this is, I think, our department where we are very now with the Werner's gone, and Novoa is on loan at Utrecht. From the start of the season, we only got 3 strikers. We got Goal, Penda, Shesko, and Paulsen. This is it. And so imagine one of them is out due to a yellow card suspension or got even a minor injury. You cannot replace one. So it's very razor thin, and I hope that we find someone who can bring some depth into the roster.
Are there any young players that can come up from the academy?
Maybe. I'm not sure about that at the moment.
Okay, well, I guess some genius is thinking of a strategy in the way to keep us afloat and ensure that we will finish up in the top 4 and qualify for that new format of the Champions League next year. So, Richard, da kommen sie wieder. Der Erbarme die Hesse komme, gell? Frankfurt will be in town this weekend, so let's have a look at our new opponent.
Introducing our next opponent, their ignorant check.
Yeah, Eintracht Frankfurt. I do remember. I have good memories to our last time we met them. It was in early June. It was in Berlin. It was
nice. It was very
fun.
nice. Yeah, it was a lot of smoke in the end from the Frankfurt supporters. Yeah, I remember that. And there was some cup involved. I can't name it anymore.
I don't know.
But Amy would have called it Titten, I suppose. Remember?
Finally. Yeah, but this time it's bread and butter Bundesliga football. And yeah, our encounters versus Frankfurt were always either hot or cold. So at home, we are unbeaten. So with 4 wins, 3 draws. And when we had to travel to Frankfurt, we win less.
Unbelievable, actually. Unbelievable.
Right. This is it. And though this time we have this home field advantage, and I'm pretty confident that we will prevail here because Frankfurt is missing 3 key players, right? They're missing, I've got it on my notes here, Mamouche, Shkiri, and Shaibi. Those 3 are off with their national teams, Egypt, Tunisia, and Algeria, to participate at the African Cup of Nations. And that means that these are in total 10 goals missing out of 26, including 2 own goals, they scored so far. And this is going to be definitely have a huge impact on a team, and it weakens them. And if you look at the last 8 matches Frankfurt played, I'm not. I cannot understand how this is possible that they're still in 6th place. So the last 8 matches, there was loss, win, loss, and a win. So they lost.
What was that win?
It was this infamous 5-1 win. And I guess there was the very first 5-1 win for Frankfurt versus Bayern that didn't, where this Bayern coach did not
got fired.
Wasn't fired afterwards.
Yes, this is what I mentioned to some friends of mine who are in Frankfurt and now Eintracht Frankfurt supporters, and told them, "Hey, now you beat them 5-1, and now Tuchel has to go. What the hell are you doing?"
But that didn't happen. So they lost. They lost in back in December or November at home versus Stuttgart. Okay, that can happen 1-2. Then they lost versus PAOK Saloniki 1-2. Then they lost at Augsburg, and that was a very, very poor performance from them. And a few days later, they went out of the DFB Pokal with a loss at Saarbrücken 0-2, just to beat Bayern. We talked about that. And after this 5-1 victory, they lost at Aberdeen and then at Leverkusen. And finally, before this little winter break, they won against Gladbach 2-1, where the game was meant to lose as well, because they were 0-1 behind until the injury time, and then scored miraculously 2 times. And I guess it wasn't one of those 3 mentioned African players that scored, but they had those assists. So yeah, if you look at that, it makes me quite optimistic that we will prevail here, and to compensate their missing players off to the African continent. They acquired a familiar name in the Bundesliga. They acquired Sasha Kalajdzic from Wolverhampton. You remember him?
Yeah.
He had some seasons in Stuttgart, and a remarkable one in the 2020-21 campaign when he scored 16 times. And I thought, oh yeah, there might be one for RBL too, but he never reached that level again, and he didn't score double digits in those upcoming seasons afterwards. So I guess that was the reason that he left Stuttgart. Now he's back. Maybe we will see him on the pitch. I don't know. But besides of that, Frankfurt got some key additions and still got some nice players and some players to watch. I would like to mention one, number 16, Hugo Larsson. This is somehow incredible. This is a 19-year-old Swedish guy that came from Malmö FF. There
Oh,
has
Malmö.
been,
Good source.
there was this one player, I don't know, it was
Long blonde hair, I think he had, yeah.
Forsberg, I guess, who came from Malmö too, back those days. So he's a 19-year-old Swedish from Malmö, and he came to Frankfurt before the start of the season, started 13 out of 14 matches possible, scored 2 goals, had 1 assist, and has a market value of around 30 million right now. So
Not bad.
an extremely upside potential, in my opinion. So if you watch him with the ball on his feet, this is nice to watch. So he had some weaknesses, no doubt about that, in defending. Okay, but keep an eye on him. Number 16, Hugo Larsson, some player to watch. And yeah, some keys to win.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so don't press too high. Don't play the high press, the ball possession game, and don't push them too deep in their own territory, because they still got some decent speedy ball carriers. I mentioned Larson already, and they got still Buta, there Nkunku with O in front of the U, Ebimbe and Knauf. But
Oh yeah, forgot about Knauf. Yeah.
so none of those 4 are dangerous goal scorers, but they can handle the ball, they can carry the ball, they got speed. So we have to avoid open some spaces. But they are struggling to defending quick attacks. So this is what Leverkusen did. I watched this tape recently, and their 3-0 victory in December, and Leverkusen did not press. They let them. They handed the ball over to Frankfurt, and look what they were doing with this, and it wasn't much. And then, like 20, 25 meters before their goal line, they attacked the ball and then played the quick game. Not really the counter-attack game, but the quick game. So quick passes through the midfield and then to the sideline, and then go for crosses. And another key to win is try to get the ball in the penalty box in every possible way, because they always got problems with clearing the ball. And there was so often havoc in their penalty area, and especially number 35 Tuta struggled and makes some clear actions to defend, and is often clearly the weakest part in their defense. So that's my conclusion to Frankfurt and how to beat them.
Well, we're going to put it to the test on Saturday. We're going to watch it. Sounds good. So what are your predictions in terms of who's going to be starting? So what's your starting 11?
Liebe Fußballfans, wir kommen jetzt zu unserer heutigen Mannschaftsaufstellung.
My starting 11. So it's, as I mentioned, not many options now. So with Carvalho not available anymore, Werner not available anymore, Forsberg gone. So
Haidara is not here.
Yeah, and very likely Orban, Olmo, and Elmas, no options for the starting 11. So here's my prediction. We will very likely see a 4-2-2-2 formation with Blaswig in goal, Henry, Simakan, Klostermann, Raum in our defense, Schlager and Seiwald in defensive midfield.
Wow.
Xavi next to Baumgartner in offensive midfield, and then Paulsen with goal. Penna will be our attackers in that encounter.
Yeah, there's not many options left, but it still sounds decent to me. And we will see if you're right.
Yeah, especially if you bear in mind who will be able to bring some fresh legs onto the pitch. So Olmo maybe will join the team after 50-60 minutes. We will maybe see Elmas for like 20-25 minutes. Chesko still available. We still got a very, very good team, but it's razor thin.
And please, no injuries, no yellow cards, especially with people who are on 3-4 yellow cards already. Okay, so in terms of score prediction, how optimistic are you?
I think we are finally going to beat them by 2 goals for the first time since 2017 and going to win 3-1.
I don't know, you're more optimistic than I am. I'm going for a draw this time, 1-1 draw. And just hope to be very wrong. Excellent. I do think we expect a lot of people coming in from Frankfurt. They're going to be loud, of course. They're going to hurl the usual insults at us, but we're all used to that, and sometimes this gets boring. Exactly. And, you know what? Ebbelwoi, Halse neu. That's what you should stick to. Okay. It was a pleasure talking to you, Richard, unless you want to say anything. No,
looking forward to Saturday. That's going to be fun.
And it should be warmer, not as freezing as it is right now. Well, it's snowing, so that's quite nice. So definitely looking forward to that encounter on Saturday and being back in the stadium. It's been too long. 2 weeks, I think. Too long. So thank you for listening to us. First episode in the new year, and we'd be delighted if you could subscribe to our RB Leipzig podcast and leave us, hopefully, a positive review. But of course, we're also interested in your thoughts and suggestions, especially if it gives us a chance to improve the pod. You can also contact us on Twitter. Our username is podcast_RBL in big letters, and email. You can send us an old school email at talktous2 being the number. So it's talktous@rbleglobaltracks.com. Well, we wish you a very good start to the new year, 2024. And it's been a pleasure creating that episode for you today. And do watch out for that Forceback special episode. We'd be grateful if you could give it a listen. And for the first time this year, all we need to say is... Auf geht's, Leipziger Jungs.